Hey, what you reading for?
Hey, what's up YouTube? Michael here checking in from Latvia. That still doesn't sound right. What the hell am I doing in Latvia? I don't know, but one thing I am doing is reading great books. For example, recently I had my first Terry Pratchett experience and it was amazing. So I want to tell you about it. Going Postal. Essentially, the plot is this man, a con man, who goes by the name of Moist Lipvig. A name so nice, I have to say it twice. Moist Lipvig. He is tasked, against his will, maybe. He is tasked with running a post office. Now, I don't know about you, I kind of really don't care about the post office, except in this book, I was rooting for and cheering for the post office, and this right out of the gate. And this book had me laughing out loud. Such a funny book and such great characters that I was invested in, I was rooting for. This book, some of the characters are golems, these giants made of clay who have these scrolls put in their head that serve as instructions. They have golem, banshee, werewolves, vampires. However, it is somewhat grounded. I mean, the book did, in certain respects, remind me of A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It reminded me of that in that it's zany and fantastical and laugh out loud funny. Except this is a little bit more grounded than the Douglas Adams work. Why did it take me so long to finally get around to reading Terry Pratchett? I mean, this book came out in 2004, and Terry Pratchett's been writing books since The Carpet People, which came out in 1971. So I am very late to this party. It's not the first time. I had heard good things about him, but I had associated, in my mind, I had associated him with science fiction or fantasy. These are genres I don't generally read. So I just assumed that he was great, but I assumed he was great for other people, you know? And I had a friend in Warsaw who was a huge Terry Pratchett fan. He'd read dozens and dozens and dozens of his books. And he was always raving about him. But my friend was kind of a weirdo. And I figured, Terry Pratchett, he's that guy who writes fantasy for weirdos. So I just kind of dismissed him until I was at the library the other day and I saw this Terry Pratchett book. And I said, hey, I'm kind of a weirdo too. Well, let's check out what the weirdos are liking. And read this book and loved it. Absolutely amazing. This is my first Terry Pratchett experience. And I definitely want to have more. But I read through the blurbs of his books, and they never sound appealing. The plot for this book didn't sound appealing to me either. It's a con man who's tasked with getting the post office up and running. What? I don't care about that. But it turns out, yes, I do. I care a lot. In fact, there's a scene towards the middle of the book. You know how the hero has an objective and a goal, and they're working towards those goals. And they are faced with an obstacle or a setback, and that creates a little tension, that's a little plot point, and an obstacle they have to overcome. Well, that happens in this book, and as soon as the obstacle or the setback hits them, I felt sad. I said, no, I don't want anything bad to happen to these characters. I don't want the post office to suffer. And I hit a point where I kind of didn't want to read any further because it got sad, you know? But that didn't last long. Because the heroes, they overcome that obstacle. And while they're doing so, they're having me laugh out loud. Quite literally, quite audibly as well. Which is what would happen if you laughed out loud, I presume. So I can't go by the blurb of the book, so I'm reaching out to you guys, the beautiful people of YouTube. Have you had experience with Terry Pratchett's work? What do you think of this book? Is he always this funny, by the way? And what should my second Terry Pratchett book be? I am going to rely on your feedback more so than blurbs or Goodreads ratings. Those have steered me wrong often in the past. But you beautiful people of YouTube, you rarely steer me wrong. Except when you do. And I remember. I will never forget. But other than those times, never steer me wrong. The only thing close to this kind of book that I have read, I mentioned Douglas Adams, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, did remind me a little bit of that. This is, as you can see, it's far more fleshed out, I would say, than Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and slightly more grounded. But both books had me laughing out loud. I don't think I've laughed more in any book I've read than this. Another book that this reminded me of is Mother Howl by Craig Clevenger. It's another book that had me laughing out loud, and there's a character that's charming and fun and has some magical elements to it. But this is quite unique, at least unique for me and for what I generally read. I am generally a grumpy old man who does not laugh internally or externally, especially not at fantasy books. But turns out, yes, I do. Turns out I still know how to have fun. I still know how to laugh. Thank you, Mr. Pratchett. So I'm eager to have my second Terry Pratchett experience. I'm eager to hear from you guys what you think of his work. I'm also eager to encourage you, if you have not already, to check him out. It's true that I am late to the party, but now that I'm here, the party has officially started. Terry Pratchett apparently officially is a great writer. This is a Discworld novel, which I didn't know what that means, but I looked it up. Apparently, Discworld is kind of this fantasy style that he writes in, where it's usually parody of sword and sorcery stuff. This isn't really sword and sorcery, but it is a little bit of fantasy, and it is kind of actiony. So should I read more Discworld works, or should I check out his other works? Probably both. That's it for this short little video. You probably want to see the star of the channel, so let me go get her and see if she wants to say hi. Zvyezda? Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I look forward to connecting with you in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next video. And moist lip fig. 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 Moist. Moist. Moist lip fig. Moist. A con man by the name of Moist. A con man by the name of Moist. A con man by the name of Moist. See? On zовут Moist. Moist. S'appelle Moist. Elisham c'est Moist. 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 Moist lip fig.